Yeah, I guess it's true that when they say the few will make it, and best believe in that category, I found a placement. This was never for the money or the payment.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? RaFnMikey here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to disassemble and reassemble a PlayStation 4 controller completely safely. You know, maybe if you have a button that's broken, you need to replace it, and so on and so forth. And I'll also go in and explain some things to you and what some things are and what you probably shouldn't mess with and what's okay to mess with and stuff like that. I'm posting this because a couple people messaged me and they asked me how to do it because they knew that I knew how to mod PS4 controllers, so they asked me if I can, teach them and stuff like that. And I told them, first off, they're going to have to learn the controller and know about the controller before even attempting to mod it. Otherwise, you can seriously mess something up. And yeah. So basically, I'm going to be using my test dummy controller. And the reason why I call this my test dummy controller is because I tried teaching my close friend how to do this. Really good buddy of mine. I tried teaching him how to take them apart and mod them and stuff like that so he can mod his own controller. And he actually messed up a little bit when he did this. And I'll get into more detail as I'm taking the controller apart. Sorry for my hair just kind of flopping around down here. My hair is lined up in a ponytail and everything, so it's kind of going to be down here. So let's get into this. First off, you're going to want a mini screwdriver. I completely forget the names of these, and I am terribly sorry. I know that's pretty unprofessional, but what you guys want to do, I have 3 different screwdrivers of a Phillips head, and that's what you're going to need, mini Phillips head screwdrivers. There's 3 different sizes that can work, and I mean, you can see the tip sizes here, if it'll focus, and if my thing stops being autistic. You got the biggest one here, and then medium, and then smallest. The smallest to medium work best. The biggest one is for certain controllers. But almost any mini screwdriver, you guys can go to Walmart and pick them up for like $5, not even. And that mini screwdriver will work because that's where I got these at. And then they have the exact same type of screwdrivers, just different sizes. But you just want to get a mini screwdriver, and almost any mini screwdriver, as long as it's a Phillips head, it will work. So we'll pop this here. So you guys see that little mini screwdriver? Okay. So what you want is to get your mini screwdriver. Okay. And then you're going to look on the back of your PS4 controller. Now, when you look on the back of your PS4 controller, there's going to be 4 screws. The 4 screws are going to be, one's right here, one of them is right here, one is right here, right next to the reset button, and then one of them is right here. Yep, right here. So I apologize, I have a lamp right here so it's easier to see, but whatever. So what you guys want to do is you want to take those screws out, and obviously don't be too rough with it because you don't want to strip the screws, but if you need to add a little bit of pressure, that's always okay. So I'll be right back after I fast forward this up and get through the process. But make sure you don't misplace these screws because you are going to need them. If you lose one of them, 1 or 2 of them, that's okay. Just try not to because you're going to need them. Alright guys, I apologize for that. My girlfriend called me on the phone, so I kind of had to answer that really fast. So once you have the 4 screws taken out from the back of your controller, what you guys want to do is either get a small Phillips head, or a small flathead, if this focuses so you guys can see it. So a little flathead here. You want to get a small one of these, or you can get like maybe a pair of tweezers or anything that's really small that you can use to pop inside of the controller here where the microphone is, because there are 2 little clips in there that you're going to want to pop out, and you want to put your screwdriver or anything right here where the red and black meets at, and you want to do it and push inward towards the microphone. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And just be careful when you do this because you don't want to break the clip. I mean, it's not really going to damage anything, but you still don't want to break your clip. Okay, also it'll do it sometimes will pop out over here too. Obviously that's good because you want it to, but if not, you can also get your thing and just kind of pop that part of it off. Now this part's going to be a little bit more tricky because here's where your buttons get involved at, and you don't want to break or damage any buttons, so you just kind of want to be careful with that. I moved my light and that just looks so much more clean, holy hell. Okay, So what you want to do now is, up here on the top part of your controller, in between your L1 and R1 button, you're going to have this little rectangle looking thing here. Just put your finger over that and use your screwdriver or whatever piece of equipment you're using to pop the controller open with. Put your finger on here, because this is part of the bottom base of the controller, and if you don't do it and you're too rough, you can pop off your buttons and rip out your light bar ribbon cord, and you obviously don't want that to happen. So put your finger on that button there and then get your tool, and then what you want to do is you want to see where it's opened up at and go up as far as you can, and just do the same thing. Just gently pop it out while you're holding on to this, and add a little bit of pressure while you're holding on to it, so that way it doesn't just go flinging open, and then you guys will hear it pop open. And then just do the same thing for the other side and you will be good to go. Alright, now whenever you have both all the clips opened up, you want to carefully, again, hold on to this middle piece and very gently pull off the back of this. It's going to require some bobbing and weaving, but again, just be careful, because you don't want your button to fly off, which it is. You know, you can put it back on. It's not going to break the button. It just pops it out of place, which is very easy to fix. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Oh, and the reason why, guys, that I tell you to put your finger on this, I mean, you don't have to. You can just kind of pop it off. But if your finger's on this a little bit as you're adding pressure while trying to get this off, it does help out a little bit, so that way you don't go flinging it off. But it'll take you guys a second to get it off, and once you do, you'll be good. And that's what I'm trying to do now. I'm trying to let you guys see what I am doing here, so that way you don't, you know, break your buttons here. And sometimes it does get a little bit challenging, and then you have to like put the back part of it on a little bit, like back where it is, and then try to repop it back out, because the L2 and R2 buttons do get in the way, and they are a pain in the butt. Alright guys, now that you get the back part slightly off, I do not have my light bar ribbon cable, but you guys will. So very, very gently pull out on your controller like this, and then when you pop it open, you're going to have your light bar, which if you see here, this is your charging cable up here. So your charger thing goes in, and this is what your charger will go into. Your light bar, however, there's this little piece right in here. I'm trying to see if you guys can see that. This little gray piece that sits right inside of here, right here, that's what your light bar plugs into, and you don't want it to unplug from here, because you will not be able to get it back on unless you can take off this plastic piece, and I haven't figured out how to do that yet. So just be very careful, and when you do that, the other part of the light bar will also be plugged in right here. Get my finger and show you guys. Right here into that thing with the little goalie things right here. So just carefully unpop that or pull it out, and you'll be good to go. So next thing that you guys will see is my battery and stuff is loose. I said it's my dummy controller. Your guys's will be popped into place, so I'm going to put mine into place quick. When your battery is hooked up and everything is snapped into place where and how it should be, you guys can use that piece that you used to pop open your controller with, and you guys can go underneath here, and this little, wherever is that, gets a little close, you guys can see this little round thingy-majiggy here, the smaller one, is what it's plugged into. That piece goes into the actual circuit board. So what you want to do is you can get your screwdriver or whatever it is you're using and go underneath it and just very slowly and carefully pop it up, and then whenever you pop it up, it'll come out nice and easily. The reason why I recommend doing it on the right side instead of the left is because the left side is kind of in with the right side, so if you pop off the right, the left is a little bit easier to get out. So once you do that, all you got to do is kind of just wiggle it around a little bit and play with it, and then you can pop it right out of its spot. So once you guys get it nice and loosened up and kind of just dangling here, you want to unplug your battery. Be careful you don't rip out either one of these cords and like break this, because obviously you need your battery so you can turn on your controller. So I'm going to go ahead and do that quick. There we go. So the reason why I call this my test dummy controller is, for one, as I said, this thing just kind of dangles in here. It's a little bit loose, and I got a lot of solder and stuff on here, because remember I was telling you guys I was teaching my buddy how to mod a controller, and he messed up while doing this one. So unfortunately that happened. So this is what you have now. These are the vibrators, or the things that, you know, vibrate and shake whenever you're playing a game like Call of Duty or something. So what you want to do is you need your soldering iron now. I haven't figured out a way of getting these off without a soldering iron. So I'm most positive you do need one, but it's highly recommended to have one. You want to get it warmed up and stuff, and then you just want to, oh, mine aren't even connected, hold on. Oh, well, that's fancy. Well, these will be connected to these things right here. Give me like 10 seconds and I will show you. They'll be down here, and you'll have the red and black wires over here. Just follow the wires until the little tiny silver things that they are plugged into right down here, and just unsolder them. It's not hard. As I said, mine aren't connected, mine's a dummy controller, so I apologize for that, but it's really easy. Just follow the wires, and there are these little tiny silver things right here and right here. You can see where I have solder at, and then just put your soldering iron on it without any solder on your iron, and then the heat will just pop it off, and then that's that. So the next step, what you guys want to do is get your controller, or your Phillips head screwdriver out again, and there's going to be a screw right here. Now there's, I think, 3 different gens. It's somewhere on the circuit board. There is another screwdriver, and the last screwdriver, just find it and unscrew it, and I'll be back once I get this out. Alright guys, once you get your screw out, you're going to see here, this is for your touchpad, the touchpad ribbon right here, the little red one. That ribbon is for your touchpad, so that's not plugged in, it's not going to work. Carefully just unplug that. You can use like tweezers or pliers, or even your fingers if you're able to, and then once you get that out, you will be good. I'm going to grab my tweezers quick because it's just a lot easier for me to do. So just carefully and very gently, you want to grip onto this and just kind of pop it out just like that. So once you do that, you just want to move your vibrators out of the way and grab the black piece. When you get the black piece, just carefully lift up on it a little bit, and then you're going to need your tweezers or even your fingers if you can get it. And you want to grab the ribbon here. You guys can see that, the ribbon, you just kind of want to adjust it back into that little hole that is out and lift up on the controller at the same time, so that way it's pulling it out and pulling the ribbon back in there, so that way you can actually get the circuit board and the actual part of the controller there. So when you pull that out, here's all your buttons. You know, you have your touchpad, your D-pad, your X, Y, triangle, circle, blue, green, whatever, these things over here. And then you have your PlayStation button here. So this isn't important anymore unless I said you're replacing stuff, but you don't want these buttons to pop out. And if they do, it's not an issue. Like let's say your start button or something pops out, you just kind of push that out there. If they popped out, oh my god, no, it's not the end of the world. Just get it, and you can literally just slip these right back in. It is super easy. Hit it and slide it on in there. Bam, that's done. The touchpad may be a little bit more difficult because of the shape of it and the sizing, but literally not hard at all. Just kind of want to pop it back over there, and bam, that's it. Oh, I popped my buttons back up. Derp. So what you want to do is, as soon as you get your buttons back in, or even at this step, you can set this part of the controller down. You can set it anywhere you want to, doesn't matter, just set it off to the side for now. And then you have the actual black part and the circuit board. Now, mine's already disconnected except for the one down here. But if you guys look, I'm trying to show you this as great as I can. There's little black clips, okay? The clips are, or is this little thing right here. Hold on. Let me zoom in nice enough so I can show you, or put this closer. This thing right here is the little clip thing. Focus. This right here, and you can tell it's a clip when you're looking at it. It's pretty small, but there's 4 of them on the controller. Let me see where this one is. But right here is the other one, and then they're kind of in the same places, but just on opposite sides of the controller. Just find those, push the clips in with your finger or a screwdriver or something like that, and then it loosens this up. There's 4 of them. 3 of mine were already loose, so just push those in. And then this is what you're left with, this part of the controller, and then the circuit board. We'll get into the circuit board in a minute, so I'm just going to set that down to the side. Now, this right here, this part of the controller. Now, this is another reason why I say, oh, this is my test dummy controller. Because if you guys see this here, this here, the green stuff, this is kind of like the, I guess, the button configuration. This, you obviously need these here. You can't have these damaged or anything, or else when you push the button in, it's not going to tell the controller, oh, hey, this button's being pushed in, do whatever the game commands you to. So, and on the back of mine, see here how I have the, my power button here. Well, if you follow that down, it's the very, very bottom line out of all of these. My buddy accidentally got solder and overheated this part because he dropped solder on there. And when he dropped solder on it, he tried to pick it back up with the solder and iron because of hardening on there, and he burnt the part of the chip. So now my power button doesn't work, so I need to buy a new thing for this. So I'm going to set that down. Here is your circuit board with the joysticks. Joysticks can be popped off and easily replaced. Let's say if you need to replace an actual joystick because maybe it's got so much wear and tear on it. Literally not hard. Just hold on to your circuit board, get your controller or your thumbsticks, and bam, comes right off. Well, not right off. You have to add a little bit of force to it, but they come right off. You got two of them, so that's always easy. Then here's the actual circuit board, or the joystick thing itself. I haven't learned how to really mess with these or how to fix them if they're broken, but I will definitely make a video on that whenever I find out and if I ever need to. But let's say your joysticks are worn down and torn up. Well, you got these, you just throw them over to the side, and then you want to grab your other joysticks or thumbsticks or analog sticks, whatever you want to call them. So I have clear ones for my other modded controller that I have, which I actually just sold. For like if you need like an LED mod. I know these are two different joysticks. I have like 4 or 5 more up there, but you get these and you just want to look at this, the thummy thing right here, and then look at the little hole that's on the inside of this, and then you can just pop that right on there. You can turn it a little bit if it helps and add pressure down, and there you go, it's on. Now I don't want this on because this controller is not modded, so there's not a reason for these clear ones to be on, so I'm going to put the original ones back on. But that's how you would, you know, fix your thumbsticks or analog sticks if something were to happen to them. So that's fancy. So you guys see, back on, nice and easy, nice and clean, they work. So once you do that, that's pretty much it. That's the entire controller. You have your circuit board here and stuff like that. This here is your touchpad. You have 4 little legs on them. By legs, I mean if you look at them right over there to the side, use a screwdriver and show you if you can see them. If it focuses on this, maybe it's not going to focus. Alright, it's worried about my finger instead of the thing. These little silver things right here and then right here, that's the legs. If you're modding a controller, you might have to solder the mod chip to the legs or whatever. But yeah, so this is your touchpad. This one right here is your start button. Oh, go down. This is for your start button. This one is your share button. So you don't want to damage any of those because that wouldn't be good. And then on the back, it's kind of like the same thing for your touchpad. This is that, and then over here it's just kind of blanked out, but there is still a lot of coding and stuff on it. I haven't mastered the PS4 controller to know exactly what everything means, but it's really not hard. It's kind of self-explanatory. So anyways, once you are done with that and done doing whatever it is you have to do, you can put your controller back together. So when you get your controller, or when you're done messing with it, you can come over here and just kind of pop your joysticks right into the little holes here, so you can just kind of slip and slop them on in there. Now when you put it in here, make sure your vibrators don't, or the vibrator wires don't get caught underneath the circuit board, and then just kind of pop this in there, and then they pop into the clips, so you don't got to worry about them coming loose or coming out or anything. So you see mine is nice and secure in here. That's good. Once you get it into here, you want to grab this shell, this part of your controller, and then pop that in there and just line up with your joysticks with that and kind of push it in. Now here's the part that might get annoying. Do you have tweezers or anything like that, or use your fingers? You can literally just pop out the ribbon because you need it to and kind of let it sit up here. When you have it sitting up here, you can kind of just push down on it a little bit, and you know, just make sure that you get it back into that hole that it needs to be in, so that way you can reconnect it, so that way your touchpad will work. It is a little irritating at first, but you'll get it. So when you do that, just push down on it and make sure that it's definitely clipped in and in there how it should be. And then you'll be back here. And as I said, mine's a test dummy controller, so mine's loose. There's some stuff broken on here, so on and so forth. But get it back in there, it'll be like this. Now the next thing you want to do is solder the your vibrators back on. That's the same step, put a little, except it's a little different. You want to put a little bit of solder on the tip of your soldering iron, and then just reconnect them to the things that you disconnected them from. And so I can't show you because, well, I don't have any more solder left, and plus mine weren't disconnected, but you guys will remember where it was. And then once you do that, then you just want to put the last screw in where the controller goes, and I will be back as soon as I finish doing that. Alright guys, once you're done putting that screw in where it belongs, you can go ahead and reattach your touchpad ribbon. So just kind of pick it up and pop it in here. You might need to add a little bit of force, but just pop it into where the white line is, and then it'll fully be in there. I know my controller's upside down right now, but right here, right to where the line is, and you'll be good. Next, after you do that, you're pretty much good. Now you just want to get your battery. You get these little clips here, and on the battery you'll have either, okay, let me take it out actually, and I'll show you guys. On the back you have all of this writing, and then on the front you have this little, that little circle thing here. That circle thing is supposed to be on the front side of the battery, and then you want to put it in with the clip, with the power supply being on the left side. So mine's a little bit backwards, so it looks like it's on the right for you guys, but it should be like this. So when you pop it back in there, if I can do so and not be retarded with it, pop your battery back into the case, and then pop the battery case and the battery and clip them back into here where they belong. Once you clip them back into here, plug your battery back in. As I said, pretty self-explanatory. You just kind of get it. Oh, this is actually going to be helpful for you guys. If you look here on the battery supply, if I can get it to not be dumb here, you guys see those little tiny two holes in there, those little two prongs, little two openings? Those want to be on the top. So right now mine would be on the top, because if you look inside the actual inside the battery thing itself, there's two little prongs here that got to go inside of this, the two little holes here. Those two little holes need to be on the top. So whenever you plug this in, just align it up, twist it up, make sure that it's on the top, and then plug it in. Otherwise it won't go in, which you would kind of figure that out. But just that way you guys don't like damage anything. So once you plug it in, that's pretty much it. You can go ahead and grab the back of the controller. I'm going to be a little careful whenever you do this, so that way you don't pop your button out again. Oh, really quickly, if your L2 or R2 button pop out whenever you're doing this, like, let's see, I'll show you here quick. Pop mine off. When you do it, there's going to be a little spring right here. So there's your R1 button. There's a spring that's right here. If that spring pops out, which mine did, you don't have to worry. It's not the end of the world. You do not need that spring. It just makes it a little bit more stiff and not so loose, which mine's not loose really at all. It only helps out a little bit. You don't need it. But if your button pops out, as you see on the button, you have that little bar that goes across it. Literally just line it up with these black things right here, and then you can pop it right back on if you have your thing lined up properly. So literally line them up, if I can get it, and once you have it lined up, literally just push on it, add a little bit of pressure, and bam, there it is, lined up nicely. Buttons work just fine. Next thing you want to do is get your controller and kind of put it together a little bit, or if you're able to do it without it, kind of adjust it a little bit, because this ribbon is a little short. You want your light bar ribbon that's connected into here, you need to plug it back into the light bar ribbon spot. I said I don't have one, so unfortunately I cannot demonstrate, and I apologize. Once you plug your light bar back in, go ahead and put your controller back together, and you want to start out by doing the top part of it first. So, I mean, put the bottom of the controller on first, and then kind of pop it up a little bit, and then slip and slide the top part of the controller up to the top. There we go. When you get it up here to the top, just kind of, you know, adjust it a little bit, make sure they're actually down there and in, and then once it is, you can go ahead and snap the clips back in together. Like I said, you got the two clips up here, so you can push down on this side and push down on this side. This clip broke for me, so my thing's a little bit loose and weird until I actually put the thing in. As you guys can see, when I push it, my button goes out. That's just because I broke the clip. You guys are probably fine. So once you do all that, just go ahead, grab your screws. Whenever you grab your screws, just put them back into the controller, and I'll be back as soon as I finish that. Alright guys, now that you're finished putting the screws back on, you're good to go, your controller's fine. Just hit the power button, turn it on. As you guys saw how my power button doesn't work, so unfortunately I can't turn mine on, but that's it. That's how you disconnect or disassemble and reassemble a PlayStation 4 controller. You know, in case you need to fix a button or anything like that. I apologize for this not being super professional and super clean, as I am a little bit autistic, so I can't really do anything about that. I'm kidding. Yeah, I do apologize though. This could have been a little bit better, but it was a little hard from this controller being a little bit messed up. If I had another one that actually worked perfectly fine, I could have done a better video. I apologize, but if you guys did enjoy, please drop a thumbs up. It really helps me out a lot and shows me your guys' support. Yeah, I'll see you on my next video. Peace.
You're my dream, and I just want it. Can't get to myself, can't get to myself, can't get to myself.